In this modern day and age, we have access to more information than we have ever had in the past, and as a result, we need to use computers to process it since we don't really possess the capability of processing it ourselves. This growing reliance on computers increases our exposure to poor programming, and this could be problematic in an ethically charged situation, which could lead to injury or even death. Artificial intelligence is being readily incorporated into new technology, and as a result, the decisions and the ways that artificial intelligence is making decisions need to be critically evaluated in terms of the morality of these decisions. Is an AI making a morally based decision, or is it simply based on the rules given and therefore it could act immorally in a situation? Regarding this problem, a literature review has been conducted and we will share the results with you now. Intelligence is the ability to adapt one's behavior to fit new circumstances. And artificial intelligence is defined as the science of making computers do things that require intelligence when done by humans. AI has had some success in limited or simplified domains. AGI is the ultimate goal in AI. AGI is the ability of a computer to perform a generic set of tasks and perform as well as a human in many different tasks and not a simplified domain. One should note that AI and AGI are very similar, but they do have a subtle difference. AI is much more specific and task-focused than AGI. There are 4 types of AI systems: reactive systems, limited memory systems, systems based on the theory of the mind, and self-aware systems. We don't have enough time to go into these systems in this video. Currently, we are only able to create Type 1 and Type 2 systems, as Type 3 and 4 systems are incredibly difficult to produce and are almost an ultimate goal of AI as it currently stands. Due to the large quantity of information that we have to outsource some of this data processing to AI and computers in general. And so we'll have to, as we do this, make certain human jobs that are currently used for this obsolete. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Arthur C. Clarke. The decision-making processes of these AIs is complex, and as a result, we don't necessarily know what's going on the inside, and so we trust these systems almost implicitly. This is a terrible situation for a moral or ethically charged situation where if an AI makes a poor decision, we'll never know why it made that decision. We'll simply see the input, see the output, and have no idea what happened in between. Even though the software may have been very well tested before, there are always unpredictable circumstances that happen in the real world. And if an AI is not conscious and aware of the moral implications of its decisions, it could easily make a mistake. An expert system is a computer program dedicated to solving problems and giving advice within a specialized area of knowledge. Expert systems fall under a branch of AI, and they are systems which have a very small subdomain, but which are normally much better than a human at that subdomain. Expert systems are used in a wide variety of examples, such as medical diagnosis, chemical analysis, credit authorization, and airline scheduling. The basic components of an expert system are a knowledge base and an inference engine. A knowledge base is basically just an accumulation of knowledge that changes based on what we see in the world. And then the inference engine uses a bunch of rules and this knowledge base in order to produce results and output. Expert systems are very specific to their intended domain and are unable to work outside of that domain. And because of this restriction of their domain, they're able to be much better and faster than human because they don't have to be generic and able to perform in new and unusual situations. Would you allow a machine to make a moral decision on your behalf? If not, why not? Decisions have consequences, and thus they'll have an impact on us and the people around us. Human decision-making is riddled with biases and inconsistencies, and can be impacted heavily by as little as fatigue or when we lost 8. For all that, our inconsistencies are relatively predictable and have bounds. Ohagute explains that there's only a limited amount that a human can be poor in a decision based on their moral compass and their conscious awareness of what the consequences of their decision are. Decisions made by AI software are based entirely on explicit logic, but it is almost impossible to break down morality into a set of finite rules, as there are infinitely many situations that can happen, and what is morally right in every situation. There are also different branches of ethics. Software will operate exactly as it is programmed, though not necessarily exactly as it is intended. Programming can differ from the intention because of small bugs, And so a finite system that we program is not necessarily going to do exactly what we think it will. One slight mistake in one line could affect the morality of the entire system and make it act completely wrong in a number of different situations, which would be almost impossible to test. To illustrate this point, consider the following example. Suppose self-driving cars are deemed roadworthy, and there are two self-driving cars on the road, each carrying one passenger. Suppose that a technical issue occurs, and that both cars are unable to immediately check their sensors for other nearby cars. As soon as the first car is able to access its sensors, again, it calculates that there is an unavoidable collision with the other car. It then determines that there are two courses of action to take. Either both cars collide and both passengers die, or the first car may attempt to swerve, resulting in only one death and one injury. On first glance, the second option seems clearly better. This demonstrates that it's possible for an AI, even in a car, to come across a situation that is ethically charged, even though it wasn't programmed for this situation. Balancing safety and societal benefit has always been a core responsibility of engineering. Today's systems, however, are rapidly approaching a complexity where the systems themselves will need to make moral decisions. Isaac Asimov is a science fiction writer who wrote a series of books based on the 3 laws of robotics. They are: a robot may not injure a human being, or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. A robot must obey orders given it by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. Although from an intuitive standpoint, it seems like these rules are, a good idea and they seem to work, there are lots of weird reasons why they might not in an AI system. Now, assuming we've created a perfect definition of a human being, what about harm? What constitutes harm to a human being? Is pain considered harm? Well, the obvious answer is yes, but what about when someone's exercising and they experience pain because they're exercising? Should an AI decide, no, you're not allowed to exercise because it brings you pain? But obviously that seems like a bad idea. If we consider only physical harm, then an AI could communicate anything and not have a problem, such as hate speech or racism. And this is obviously a problem and still emotional harm, but this wouldn't be included in our definition, would it? If there's only one person working on an AI system, the AI system could easily take on the stance and morals of this person rather than a universal set that the programmer is trying to put in. This, of course, leads to a varied outcome, which is troublesome because what if it acts immorally in a situation where the programmer would have acted immorally? We can't let these situations happen, and so it is very important that any morally aware system that we program is based on a collaboration of people. The IEEE Ethically Aided Design's General Principles Committee provide a clear framework that describes high-level ethical concerns that concern all AI. Embody the highest ideals of human rights that honor their inherent dignity and worth. Prioritize the maximum benefit to humanity and the natural environment. Mitigate risks and negative impacts as AI/automated systems evolve as socio-technical systems. It is essential to embed values and norms into an AI that are context-specific, such as, in the example of an AI working on a social network, people will expect an AI to use informal language, and if it doesn't, they'll be a bit confused and why is the AI doing this? And vice versa, if an AI is working in a business context and sending emails, for instance, it needs to use formal language in order to fit in and seem like normal. If this were not so, humans using them would quickly become confused by the seemingly mixed messages the AI is sending. Obviously, AI works on information systems and computer systems, and these can be hacked. Also, standards need to be put in place in order to prevent this information from being disseminated freely. As AI technology is embraced more and more by humans, it needs to co-evolve with us. As we change, the AI needs to adapt with us. This means it will be evolving in unison with these systems. If AI software makes a decision that results in a negative outcome, such as injury or even death, who's at fault? If the AI is morally aware, is it perhaps the AI's fault? Is it the creator's fault? Is it the manufacturer or the random person who made the last change? AI systems and AI software are advancing much faster than the legal framework can keep up with, and so we need to start thinking about these issues now before these AI become commercially available. There are many exciting new opportunities for AI, and it is important that we balance regulation and innovation in order to make new designs and new ideas still appealing to programmers who create them. As AI progresses, we need a mutual evolution with morally aware systems and AI systems. The whole black box idea of AI is causing an increase in trust in AI, and this needs to be balanced by an increased ability to be trusted by these morally aware systems that can be applied. As we have shown, it is almost impossible to create a codified set of rules and regulations for AI, and so we need to get a collection of people together who can create a generic morally aware system rather than a set of rules and regulations for AI. As AI becomes more advanced, privacy becomes a bigger issue, because more and more data is being stored on the cloud and in AI. As a result, legal frameworks need to be produced and created and codified before these systems become commercially available.